So I recently tried to read a couple different supernatural horror stories, didn't get very far in any of them, and am now back to reading everyday life type stories instead. So this book is called Shoe Addicts Anonymous by Elizabeth Harbison, and it follows four very different women who meet at a group called Shoe Addicts Anonymous. It's created to or intended to help women who really like shoes to meet, talk about shoes, swap shoes, and hopefully save money and not necessarily spend as much on buying new shoes. So let's see, the person who started the group in the first place is called Lorna. She is a waitress and she has a really serious addiction to shoes. Like, it's to the point where she will spend like hundreds of dollars buying shoes and then realize way too late, I guess, that she doesn't have the money to pay her like car bills, so it's going to get repossessed, or like to pay for her electricity and stuff like that. So a lot like the main character for Confessions of a Shopaholic, although unlike that character, I guess she realizes earlier that she has a problem and tries to take steps to address it, which is why she started this group. Like, it occurred to her that maybe if she had this group, she could swap shoes with other people who are like her instead of constantly spending a lot of money for shoes that she really wants to wear. So let's see, Lorna is dealing with her money issues as well as starting to acknowledge her addiction. Then we have Helene. She is the wife of a politician and she essentially married for money and is now kind of questioning her original decision. Like, she used to think that she loved her husband and she used to think that, everything would be okay, I guess, that it was a sacrifice and stuff that she was willing to make, like being a trophy wife and having to put up with like annoying social functions and things that are meant really just to help her husband in his career. But at this point, like, he's trying to force her to have a child that she really doesn't want to have because she doesn't want to bring a child into the kind of relationship and home that they currently have. But just also dealing with just being really unhappy. Like, her husband and her really don't get along anymore. They're both kind of hiding things from each other, although it's pretty obvious what they are. And, they both kind of also know what's going on. But also, she kind of since she married for money, it's like she kind of reacts when he does things she doesn't like carry on affairs and stuff, by going out and spending a lot of money. And so she comes to this group because she also really likes shoes, but like all this tension and stuff between her and her husband starts to cause serious issues. And joining this group was, something that she does to try to deal with some of the issues in her life. So let's see, person number 3 is called Sandra. She is a phone sex operator. So she's technically pretty comfortable as far as money goes, although she does have the habit of doing a lot of online shopping, like as a pastime, I guess, that she enjoys. She's also very seriously agoraphobic. Like, she is so afraid, I guess, of going out into the world and interacting with people that it's starting to seriously impact her life. Like, she has a lot of insecurities, like she's also like overweight from when she was younger and always feeling like her parents loved her sister more, and never having that kind of friend circle or so on growing up, and never really having people who she felt like she could depend on, or like who she could be herself with, really. But she knows that this is a problem and she's trying to make a change. Like, she's trying to follow her therapist's advice and take baby steps to try to make herself actually go out and be brave and interact with people. And she finds this shoe group as a kind of hopefully a safe space for her, because it's something that she feels like she could probably get along with other women about, since she's also a big fan of shoes. So last person is called Joss, and she is very new to the city. Oh, they're all in DC, by the way. So she came as a nanny, like because she really likes kids, but she ended up in a household with some really, really nasty employers. So like they keep referring to her as Cinderella, like it's a tiny bit reminiscent because getting ordered around all the time by her employers and forced to do like additional work and stuff that is not part of her contract, but she feels like she's supposed to uphold the contract because it is a contract. Like she can be a bit naive, but her heart's in the right place and she really wants to do right by the kids, but she seriously needed a place to escape now and then, because if she's in the house even on her days off, like the woman of the house will order her around and make her like do laundry, wash dishes, etc., and just is generally a really nasty person in general. So if she's not out doing something, then it's there's no way for her to kind of protect herself some. So she actually ends up in this shoe group, not because she knows anything about shoes or has any particular interest in shoes, doesn't even have like the right shoe size, I guess, but because it happens to take place on the right day of the week and seems more interesting to her than the other types of groups and stuff that were available, which are things like mental health groups, for instance, or sports related groups and stuff like that, which she isn't really that gung-ho about being a part of. So the story follows these four women as they meet and start to develop a pretty strong friendship with each other and help each other out through the problems that they're each facing. So something I liked. I very much enjoyed watching the relationships between them develop. Like, I just like seeing the way they became friends, like even though they come from really different backgrounds, they have really different experiences, like watching them learn to open up to each other and how this group comes to mean a lot more to them than just something about, an addiction in shoes. That comes to be something that really helps all of them find a way to continue on in their lives, I guess, and to deal with, sometimes like one of the characters talks about how she feels like people, even when you are deeply unhappy, a lot of times people just sort of bear it because it's easier and less scary than actually trying to fight back or actually trying to go out and make a change or do something new. Because, and especially for women, for instance, like sometimes other people, like the man, often have more power than you, more money than you, more authority or whatever, but sometimes you just have to find that courage to stand up for yourself, to do the things that you think is right, and also to protect yourself and the people that you care about. So yeah, something I did not like. There were definitely some really annoying scenes that I kind of scanned through, especially with Joss and her nasty employers, like the woman, like she has interactions with like the mother of the kids she's looking after is so unreasonable and so unpleasant. I kind of had to scan over her sections because reading it made me really mad. But other than that, I did find it pretty enjoyable, and I would say that the story ends pretty well.